Right, cool. What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Base Fuego and Cerveza podcast, where we talk about all good things from modern dating, con un poco de limón y chile, and some cold hard truths. Tequila optional. Today, guys, we have a special guest coming from the south of California, everybody.
Uh-oh.
You need help with your dating? You have any questions with men's dating? The platform is here for you to help guide you there. Everybody, please give a round of applause for Pete O'Neill.
Let's
dating.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. I'm here from San Diego, California. I'm happy to be here. Pete O'Neill, happy to be in your channel. Thanks for the invitation. I'm excited to, have a great podcast, have some good vibes, and share some stories, and be able to create in this podcast here, have some golden nuggets that are going to change your life forever. So let's begin. Yeah.
Can you go ahead and just kind of give you like a minute or two synopsis of what do you do, how you help men, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Pete O'Neill. I'm from Texas, San Antonio, Texas. My journey was I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 2010 in San Antonio, Texas. And the reason why I moved to California was to train Jiu-Jitsu at the best gym in the world, which is called Todos Jiu-Jitsu in San Diego. And when I first lived in Texas, I had a non-existent dating life. And when I moved to San Diego, like late 2012, that's when, for me, that was the first time that I've ever saw attractive women everywhere, at the beach, at grocery stores and coffee shops, when you go out, when you're just walking in the streets. And right then I was like, wow, I'm winning these titles in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm getting more confident. But I would go out to the club after winning a tournament, for example, and I had this mindset where I was like, oh, I won this tournament, I'm the champion, nobody needs to talk to me, no girls talk, you know what I mean, I'm not gonna talk to any girls, they're all gonna have to talk to me. That's my mentality. So I went there with friends, and we go to the club and stuff, and I'm just having a drink, I'm just acting really hard.
Want to see me.
There's no girls that are coming after me, or talking to me, or at all. And that night, I didn't talk to any girls, and I was just I remember the next morning, I was just what the fuck? No matter if you can win something, if you go somewhere, you still have to work on your social skills and talk to women. So that's where the journey started for me. I had, coaches, mentors. I went to the guys who were the best in dating, teaching attraction and dating and love, David D'Angelo, Mystery RSD, those guys, right? Those are the godfathers, right? And, from there, I just created my own system. And in that system of me working on my social skills here in San Diego, in the beginning, I had a lot of rejections, obviously, right? I didn't know how to talk to women. I didn't know how to have good conversations, how to have good vibes, being able to make women, be able to tease women and tell stories. I remember I was really bad at telling stories with women, and really getting to if I had an experience, or if I wanted to share something, I would try to share it, but I just couldn't articulate it. And that in itself was the most frustrating thing. So that's where, I worked on my conversation skills, my public speaking, my impromptu, and my storytelling, by joining this club called Toastmasters. I think Toastmasters is a place where every guy should go, because it's a place where you work on your public speaking. And I think public speaking is the biggest fear besides death, right? And I would even say that the biggest fear is actually talking to women. But it's not even on there, because that's not to be expected anymore, right? So that's just the truth. So I kind of did that. And once I did that with learning about attraction, reading all the books, going out into the field and going and getting rejected a lot, learning, winning a lot, I never thought of getting rejected as losing. I always thought of learning, right? So I was always either winning by being able to meet women and get their number and get to the next level, or I would learn by getting rejected. But then I would really go into detail. Why did I get rejected? Was it because she just didn't like me at all? Or was it, what did I do? Did I display attractive traits, unattractive traits, things like that? Kind of always analyze myself.
Yeah.
And like, that's how I got really good. And then through there, I just created a system. And then I started helping people out, like my friends first. They got transformations, and then their friends were like, holy crap, how the hell did you get so confident or, you know, get success with women, you know? And then from there, I just took it to like, you know, everywhere. And I just started helping guys out. And I started having a lot of success, man. Like there's like breakthroughs in my life where like 1 year was like equivalent to like 3-4 years, you know what I mean? Of like how much success because of like what I've learned. So, you know, sometimes a lot of people are always basing their results on like, you know, the leg count, but sometimes in the very beginning, if you're just like a beginner, man, I was like level 0, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, most people don't understand the process. You know what I mean? The process is so important. And like, if you really like love the process, it's going to make everything fun. I think people hate the process. They want the end result. And then they're just like not having fun the whole time, you know? So I think like the most important thing is like, know that it's going to happen as long as you take action and you have like people who are helping you. You can do it's so easy in today's world to succeed. Like all you have to do is just like, if you don't know what to do, you just get someone that already has the knowledge that can help you, that can mentor you, and they can take you to the next level. And that's literally just rinse and repeat in everything in your life. And that's really kind of what like the knowledge that I learned from jiu-jitsu and then dating. And then that's how I built the platform. So now I help guys out in their dating life, and it's pretty awesome, man. I love it, man. I love you know, making guys really confident and just having that like, you know, abundance mentality so that they can find their dream partner. And when they do find it, man, it's like I like to see their faces that they're happy and stuff. Like that's what fulfills me, man. That's one of the biggest things, you know. So that's why I do it.
Yeah, so I think so when it comes to like cold approaching and that kind of stuff, I know you talk a lot about that on your channel.
Sure.
But I think even before you do cold approach, we got to take it like another step back and we talk about the inner game, right?
Yeah.
So I guess to me, I have a question for you, and it kind of has to do with inner game, and it's what are some things you can do to what are some things men can do temporarily? Because you talk about the logic trap and how men get trapped in that. So what are some things that men can do to kind of escape that logic trap and kind of get into more of a playful mode when it comes to like, you know, before they even go and approach a woman?
You mean like if they can improve their personality or they can make their like inner game stronger, like their mindset stronger? I feel like those are two different ones, I feel.
I guess I would say avoiding like I gotta approach a girl, I gotta say a line, and that instead of like having that type of mindset, be like, I'm gonna be myself, I'm confident who I am. Let me show my sense of humor, whatever it is, dark, light, whatever, right? So how can they switch from that very logical step by step process of getting a girl to a more enthusiastic, playful mood?
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing here, number one, is body language. I think body language is the most important out of everything else, because if you have weak body language from the get go, she's gonna see it, and right there she's gonna reject you just because of your, you know, you're like hesitant, you're like kind of like, you know, you're moving, you know, you're like want to go, you don't want to go, you're like you're just
Staring from like afar.
and then or you can't even look at her in the eye, you know, you're like you look down, or when you approach her, you're like, hey. Like all that is done. Like women can see that a mile away, you know what I mean? And they're not gonna want to do that. Only, dude, like I swear, you know, and most women, like maybe a woman will think it's cute, but the majority of women are gonna reject you from the get-go. So the most important thing, just to right away, like this is 90%, just master body language. You know what I mean? Like learn how to actually posture in a way where when you're standing, you show that you're high value, that you show that you're confident, you show that you're not a weak guy. You're not, you know, like slouched back showing any like, you know, like you're just like a fucking like a prey, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Women don't want to be a guy who's like sick, because in the evolutionary side, it's like this guy's not going to be able to, you know, protect me. You know what I mean? So they want to be with a strong guy, you know, whether it's the mindset or it's like the physical, you know, or you can do both. You know what I mean? Why not do both, right? But that's number one, dude. You got to get that down. I would say like couple things that they can implement right away is just like have someone record your walking. You know what I'm saying? Have someone record the way that you walk. You look at how you look at yourself in the mirror. You're walking like you're the fucking man. You know what I mean? You have to have these like battles inside you every single day that you're like saying, I can do this. Like, I can get better. I can keep improving. Whatever goal that you have, you're like, I can fucking do this, man. Nothing can stop me. Like I like that. That's so important. You know what I mean? Like I still do this to every day. Like I'm doing it with like everything in my life. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing it through this. You know what I mean? I hurt this. You know what I mean? I broke my my wrist. I couldn't even do a push-up, dude. You know what I mean? And training jiu-jitsu. So, you know, one of the things that I love to do is compete jiu-jitsu. And, you know, I broke this, so I'm out for like 3-4 months, you know, but in my head, I'm thinking when I come back, I'm going to beat all these guys. And like, I'm always constantly like affirming, I'm going to fuck these motherfuckers up. And I'm going to be the first Latino guy that ever wins the black belt world title. You know what I mean? That's like my belief. And then you have to have that, like, you have to have that type of belief in whatever it is that you're doing. Same thing in my business, you know, but like, that's just the belief that I have. And, you know, I think that's the most important thing to tell all guys. And how do you do that is by like constantly, like, if you don't have something, like have little goals in your life that you're working on, like things that are going to make you more physical, whether it's like working out or doing like, you know, F45, doing things just to make you feel good. Right. And then by doing it consistently, you're going to gain confidence from that. And also like, you know, having self-affirmations. I think self-affirmations is really powerful stuff. Like if you're like have a lot of like lower self-beliefs, you know, like a lot, if you're always constantly getting defeated by your lower self, then you have to have like self-affirmations. You have to be listening to powerful stuff, powerful speakers like Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, all these guys who are like legends, right? You got to be listening to music that hypes you up, that like you can paint a mental picture of like you getting to hitting your goals, that like constantly inspire you. You know what I mean? So that if a woman rejects you, you're not so focused on her because you don't care, because your number one thing is yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's the number one thing for a guy. You know, I always tell my guys, rule number one, you're number one. Rule number two, they're number two. You know, because if you treat a woman like she's number one, she's going to leave you. You got to still be focused on the mission, focus on the goals. So that's why like this is the most important thing, right? Because you can go and talk to girls and get rejected 3 times and you quit. Done. Any guy can do that. Any guy can quit. It's easy to quit. But the guys who succeed are the ones who get rejected the most. Simple as that. You know what I mean? It's the truth. So you just have to be willing to have that mindset where you're going to do it no matter what. And like if you're, you know, success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. So that's the first step, man. Get your mindset right. You know, start having self-affirmation, start listening to positive thoughts, create a mental picture for you of the goals that you want to hit, you know, this year, in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years. And then, you know, live in there. Like when things are not going well, you live in the good. And then that's how you manifest things, as long as you're taking action. So, you know, that's number one. Number two needs to be eye contact. Like eye contact is huge. Like you have to look at the girl the whole time. I feel like, you know, I don't know if you guys have been watching my channel, but I've been interviewing a lot of girls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I noticed, like just from interviewing chicks, is like I interview some girls, and a lot of girls I can see they're like very, very shy, very timid. They're not very confident because they're not looking at me in the eye. They're like this stuff. And then I can see girls that are really confident, and I'm like, damn, like I can tell. So if I can tell, girls are very fucking, they're very good at observing, right? So they can see if a guy's not looking at it, it just looks really bad for a guy. It just makes him look weak. You know, for a girl, if she's doing that, I'm giving her a little like, you know, break. You know what I mean? Like if she's a girl, you know what I'm saying? But if it's a guy, right away, boom, done. So those are 2 big things right there. And then the next one is your tonality, your voice tonality. It needs to just project like, you know, positive, like strength, you know what I mean? Like just masculine strength that's like strong, you know? And I think a lot of these guys, they don't really talk at all. A lot of guys don't talk, and they're like, oh, hey, hey, excuse me.
Can I trouble you for some water?
They also speak from their nose instead of their diaphragm too, right?
Yeah.
So anytime like this, or you talk like this, as you can hear the difference.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So these are like the things that I fix right away. If they work like infield with me, or like, you know, I'll do some infield sessions with guys, but if they like go with me, I'll record them and stuff. And then we'll see their body posture. We'll see everything. You know what I mean? If they're like live in a different city or state, they just record it and I can kind of see, you know what I mean? And then maybe we can just keep improving. But that's like super important, man, because that's like getting you in the door without you even saying a single word. You know what I mean? Also, like knowing like when a girl's like walking, how to like intersect her right, you know what I mean? And like, because a lot of times, like if a girl's walking this way and you're gonna cut her, guys just say, come right here, and they say something and the girl keeps walking. She looks and then she keeps walking when they need to go and just walk along with her. You know what I mean? So they know they need to learn these things. Also, when a girl's like intersecting you, you need to like, before she like sees you, you need to like wave and it's like, hey, what's up? Or like you say something, you know, but before it's like she intersects, you're like, hey, and then she already leaves, you know, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Right. So yeah, I mean, that's like, they have to understand that. And then from there, you know, the whole be yourself thing, I get it, right? You want to be your best self, but you know, the most important thing, the most important concept, just to not be so logical, is like, number one, like stop answering questions, like just logical. I think that's where a lot of guys like, you know, like they mess up with women, you know what I mean? They're like, when they get interviewed or when they're talking to girls, they basically like, you know, a girl asks them a question and the guy just answers, as opposed to like having fun with like things like that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah, be playful and like you know, have good vibes, man. That makes you have like good vibes. If you can kind of do those kind of things and then like be making like sharing stories, being able to like, hold on a second. Just give me a second. I want to put on headphones. Can you guys hear me?
There's a little bit of
it's cracking a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good.
Better?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so yeah, that's the most important thing, man. I think body language is the number one thing. And then, you know, just all the things that I said. And if the only way to like, instead of going logical, what they need to do is they need to be able to like, if a girl says something, they need to be able to chime in on something and kind of have like a joke, you know what I mean? A joke, or maybe like small banter, where some nice guys, they don't want to do that because they don't want to give it a shot. They're thinking more of like, what if it fails? You know what I mean? And that's like a huge reason why like guys can't be themselves, because they want to say it, but they're not going to say it. But if they said it, at least, even if it was fucking like weird, at least it's like better than nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, that's how you have to learn too. Like,
playing to lose versus playing not to lose versus playing to win, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's a big one right there. And just be good at telling stories. Like, just learn how to tell good stories. Go to Toastmasters, like I said. Be consistent. Go once a week for a whole year. You know, have a small goal. Like go for 1 month. You know what I mean? And like that'll change your conversation skills. You're gonna have more confidence there. But you still have to have the framework. I feel like another thing is like, guys don't have a sense of purpose of like how their conversation should be. It shouldn't be like a engineer, you know, like where it's just all like logical exact steps, but they need to at least have like, step one, just being able to initiate a conversation indirectly. Step two, getting into, creating attraction and building a connection. And step three, getting into, getting the number, right? Getting the number, getting Instagram.
Like a framework, right? Some type of framework that they can kind of go off of, but
they add
exactly way to it, but they just go off of those.
Like a goal.
Yeah, like those are the principles that they follow. Whenever.
Yeah. Like, and then they say their own words, say their own personality. You know what I mean? Add your own flavor, add your own spices, add your own, fresa con crema. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put my mom used to always say, "Pon más." What would she say? She's like, "Más crema en los tacos." That's what she would say. So kind of do it like that a little bit, right? And that already makes you have more charisma. And I think like that's what makes you, people want to be drawn to your presence, whether it's men or women, right?
That's very true.
Yeah.
I guess I got a question on that.
Sure. Fix the lighting real quick.
Okay. Yeah. So I know you touched on a lot about it, so I'll make two questions into one, basically. So for somebody who's like, let's say, shy or somewhat introverted, and they're still like in the beginning stages, maybe they have some bit of confidence, but they're not too sure about like approaching someone. would you say a good advice would be them jumping into new environments, trying out new places to go to meet women, or is that too much of a step for them to go ahead and get into? Like maybe they have enough confidence for it, but they still aren't ready there yet. Would you say that's like a good tip, or is that more like someone more advanced?
Like to just jump right in,
or like just go to different environments and like meet girls. Like maybe they're so shy to like try out something new to meet girls, or even just put themselves in.
Like, give me an example of like what
environments.
places they were before and what places they should try.
Bookstores, bars.
Yeah, like maybe let's just say, or maybe not to meet the girl. Let's just say to put them in new environments to kind of get themselves comfortable with trying new things, right? Because approaching a woman is going to be something new for them if they're introverted or shy. So like, let's say they just stay home, or they're like online only. Maybe they just walk to the park only, but they're too scared to try something new. Like
That's like I get the question. I get the question.
Yeah.
So this is a big thing right here. This is what I learned from coaching my guys that were really like very socially awkward, very shy, introverted. The beginning, especially the guys that I was teaching like in San Diego that live here that I do infield with, I would like try to get them to just go right into talking to women, but they had a hard time doing it, right? So over time, what I've learned was we don't focus on necessarily talking to just women. We focus on actually learning how to talk to like, you know, everyone. Talk to guys, talk to grandmas, talk to a grandpa, talk to, you know, a dad, you know what I mean? Talk to a guy, talk to a woman, and just have more conversations like doing that. And like not just quitting when like you get into like, hey, how's it going? Hey, this, and then you stop. I don't call that actually like an actual set, because that's like you're giving up. You got to keep going. And by keep going and asking questions and just stop going inward of like how you're feeling, but try to go more outward, how the other person is feeling, working on your interpersonal intelligence. From that aspect of it, that's how a person can get his social intelligence and his like social skills better, by talking to everybody. I think if you only focus on talking to girls, it's gonna take them way longer, as opposed to actually just being better at talking to people in general, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just like I thought, because you know, like in the beginning, like my clients, I would see like, what do I need to do to keep getting them better? Because some guys come to me and within like 30 days they find their dream partner, man. You know what I mean? Or they just got it, bro. You know what I'm saying? That maybe they've already been trying. Like not everyone that comes to me is just a complete beginner. Okay. A lot of guys that come in my program are people who've already been studying like Red Pill, who are like watching or like reading the people like Corey Wayne, all those guys. You know, they're like working on themselves, trying to approach girls. So they already have that, but they just like, they want to like find their dream partner. Or they just, you know, want to, you know, have 1-2 golden nuggets to really, you know, get to the next level. You know what I mean? And then those guys just completely crush you right away. You know what I mean? And then there's guys that, you know, they literally are like software engineers. They just moved from like India, and like they don't have any like way of like actually conversating with people. They don't really know the like the lingo here, things like that, you know. So those guys, we need to like, it might take them longer, but hey, if they stay in the program, they're gonna get to their desired result. But everybody's different, so that's why I'm always like, we can't rush this. Like you can't rush something that you want to last forever.
Especially when it comes to like finding some. If you're looking for somebody long term, that's a different process than like hookups or something like that.
No, true, yeah.
I kind of wanted to ask you,
but as far as like what you're saying on that one is like, you're saying that like, yeah, to find their dream partner, and I agree. Like they do need to work on themselves, and it might take them a while, but you know, if they find someone that they really love, that they really find a connection, that they're like just madly in love with, and the woman loves them back, and there's this passionate love, it was worth it, man. You know what I mean? In the end, it was worth it. All the rejections, all the things that you had to eat shit or kind of, you know, get humiliated or look like a fool, it was worth it. You know what I mean? And that's like, and through that journey, you just gain like so much more confidence in everything else in your life, because it amplifies everything, you know. So having like the dream girl, your best friend, your lover, and also like through what you did in that journey, I feel like when I see my clients, they get better in all their aspects of life after that. You know what I mean? Because they're tackling the hardest part, which is like all the biggest fears that we have as guys, you know. And if they want to like have like more dates just in general, they still have to do it. It's the same process. A lot of people think like it's a different process. It's not a different process.
Yeah.
It's the same exact process. It's just up to you whether you actually find the right girl and you want to like settle down or not. You know what I mean? But that's really the truth.
I guess I have a question. So we were talking about like inner game not too long ago, and we noticed this on our side in the Bay Area, but I don't know if you noticed this, but you know how like there's a lot of nice guys, and maybe they try to. There's a lot of guys that think that using that as a tactic is going to work, but it's actually one of the worst tactics to use. Maybe because they don't have mentorship, or they for whatever reason. So like if you recognize, hey, I'm a nice guy, but I want to get out of this. I'm tired of not getting any results. What are some things that you can give them so that they can get out of that habit and start being the man that they want to be?
Yeah, I mean, it depends where they're at in the nice guy, their own little journey, right?
Mhm.
But I mean, if a guy's completely clueless and he's a nice guy, like, listen, there's nothing wrong with being nice, with having, integrity, being a cool guy that's like nice to people. But if like you're just a doormat, you're the guy who people are mistaking like for like kindness for weakness, right? They're using you, right? Women are completely just like, let's say you're like a rich dude, they're just like spending all your money and like going out with like other dudes and stuff like that. Like you have to recognize like that, like what you're doing, it starts from the frame of the relationship that you get into, right? They're just letting women walk all over them. And once a woman walks all over the guy, they go, 10,000 more miles. You know what I mean? They go to the end. They're going to run him dry, right? And these guys don't know what to do. They don't know how to set boundaries. So, I mean, step one, if you're just a complete beginner, would just be for them to just learn, read books about this and really kind of analyze their life. I think that's the most important thing, right? One of the best books that, is for this is by, I forget his name, but it's the No More Mr. Nice Guy book.
Oh yeah, he's a doctor.
Dr. Glover, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Dr. Glover. And, he talks about it, and he talks about like that's the reason why he wrote it was because he was a nice guy, and, he has a couple books. So that'd be the first step, and then the second thing would be like, one of the things about being a nice guy is like, nice guys, I noticed that they apologize for nothing. Like they apologize for like them not doing anything wrong. Like, so like, that's the thing is like, you can't be apologizing for something that you're like, oh, I'm sorry. Or like, right?
I've heard that before.
and also like, they want to say something like in a conversation with like, let's say it's like a social dynamics, like a lot of people, they want to chime in, but then they're like, oh man, what are other people going to think? So they don't say it. And that's a thing that they need to just muster up and just start saying how they feel. You know what I mean? And start to learn how to like joke around and banter with the guys. I think joking around with the boys, teasing them a little bit makes you a little bit more of like understanding kind of that aspect of it. And I feel like a lot of nice guys, they don't do that with like their friends and stuff like that in a way, to take it into like with women as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say number one is like read books about it and, analyze your life and your experiences and what you've done. And then from there, surrender that you were the nice guy. And then number two, get to work, man. Focus on yourself. Yeah.
Okay. I guess my question on that would be, what are some of like examples or like cringiest moments that you've heard from nice guys that when they pedestalize women, but they don't know because they're nice, but moments that you like hear from clients or that are just cringy when you hear that it happens? Not to diss some of the nice guys, but just
I mean,
just in case they hear it, they know what they're doing wrong.
I mean, like the exact thing of like what guys do that's just like very like icky or whatever,
or just something that you hear common that it's like, oh wait, that's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's pedalizing her, but he doesn't even know he's doing that. But like, I guess, yeah, examples of that.
I mean, examples of nice guys is just like a guy that's like agreeing with the girl no matter whatever she's saying. He's like, oh, nice, yes, right? Like these things where he's just like giving her validation, like, like really nice. And like then maybe she's talking about like something and he's like wants to talk about it because of her. He's not going to want to talk about like certain things that he wants to talk about. He's not going to want to like joke around with her. he's gonna just completely suck up to her. And this is like the big concept, you know. That's the majority thing. As far as what they say, right now I can't think of something exactly because I have so many thoughts roaming in my head, but that in general is like what a lot of nice guys do, and they need to just like not care about a woman's validation, but most importantly, not care about other people, you know's validation in general. I think if they work on their inner game, they're gonna have more confidence to say what they truly feel, and that in itself is attractive, you know. Because then if you say things of your conviction, things that you're passionate about, things that you're interested about, that is very attractive. And I feel like a lot of guys don't want to do that because they're all thinking like, what are all the people going to judge me if it comes out wrong or something like that, right? So then they keep it to themselves, or they're like a turtle. And then because they're a turtle, nobody knows their personality. And when nobody knows their personality, it's basically the person doesn't exist. And then a woman doesn't even have any like attraction towards the guy, you know? So that's the big important like lesson right there.
Man, that's powerful.
Yeah.
So we're going to move. I'm transitioning a little bit away from the nice guy topic, but let's say you're in your single days or in the clients that you have. What's your favorite way to start like sexualizing in the conversation when it's a man to a woman conversation?
Yeah. I mean, as far as like using like, you mean like how to create it where it's a little bit more like like you're talking to a girl and then you want to get it more emotional, like where it's a little bit more, there's like create sexual tension maybe a little bit.
Create sexual tension so she knows that you're interested in her.
I mean,
you're not going to be a friend, you're not going to be this, you know.
I mean, one of the things that separates nice guys from guys who are confident, who like are attractive to women and get women, is that like when they do talk to women, they're not so concerned of like failing necessarily, but more importantly, like them going in, like having good vibes with the girl. And then while they have the good vibes, they go in like, as they're talking, they're like, you know, sometimes they'll put their hand on like the shoulder as they're like saying like a funny story, right? Sometimes like they're like, ha ha ha. And they're like, they touch, you know, the girl in like the shoulder, they touch her like kind of like by the kneecap a little bit, by the thigh. And these, like, every time that like there's like a small like little touch with like good vibes, then it creates like a spark, just a little bit, right? And that's a little bit to, you can keep it making it more, you know what I mean? And like most guys don't even try that at all. They're like, fuck that, it's weird. But they're also using it out of the context too, of like, let's say like, you know, you're like talking to a girl and basically you're not having the good vibes. You're just like, it's just like, it went awkward, the conversation, and then you like try to touch her. Then it's fucking weird, you know what I mean? So I think like
long pause.
yeah. So that's like what you have to understand, like how to use it where like the interpersonal intelligence comes in, of like knowing how people are, they're feeling, and also having the good vibes to then add that a little bit in the conversations, and then that creates a little bit more of like a sexual tension, sexual dynamic, a little bit more. You're not in the friend zone. You know what I mean? Then you can get to the next steps or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's really important. Yeah.
I guess to go off that, let's say you're in the same conversation, you escalate a little bit. What are some examples of shit tests girls would throw at you? And as you escalate, right, they throw a shit test to try to like test you out, test out the water.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of
test how masculine you are.
Yeah, but for men who don't even know what that is. Yeah, like what is that? What is that? And like what are
honestly, like the way that I look at shit tests, like compared to maybe other guys, is like I have a different perspective. I feel like a shit test, guys are like, oh fuck, she's throwing me a shit test. Like, oh, here we go, I gotta pass it. And then it's psychological about it, like, okay, here we go. You know what I mean? I take it more like when a girl gives me a shit test, that means that she's into me. You know what I'm saying? That's like, you know what I mean? Like she's more into me because like, you know, she's like, that's like her way of flirting with me. Like if she's like joking around maybe about like me or like with the client, I'm like, oh dang, she's like into you. Because a girl that's not into you at all would not even say anything really. You know what I mean? They would just like have like a one-word answer basically. That's not really a shit test. It's more just like she's not really even interested there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm always like, hell yeah. Like for my clients, I'm like, dude, this is something like she's basically giving you like a microphone and you can like sing, you know what I mean? You can do your thing, right? This is, you know what I mean? That's good. She's into you. And then, you know, the guy passes it with flying colors, you know, but just like not like, number one, don't react about anything. That's where a lot of guys fuck up. You know, we can talk about what exact thing, but the core concept is like, don't react to a woman if she's saying something like this. Is where a lot of guys like like this, or they get angry. You know what I mean? And they're not poised, and like that in itself shows weakness, man. And she just wants to see what the core is from you, you know. And I just believe that a lot of guys they get defeated right there. You know what I mean? And the woman's right there. It's like, oh, this guy's I already crumbled this fucking dude. All right, next. Like I don't want this fucking dude to, you know, hold my fucking child. He's not gonna be able to protect us. He can't even protect me, or he can't even like pass this. You know what I mean? So like that's why women throw shit tests, because they have to, like, the kids that they're gonna have, you know, they're gonna have to have a kid for 9 months in their belly, so they want to make the best possible choice. You know what I mean? And they want to know like more than meets the eye, not just surface level, but like core. And that's where I go back into like, you know, going into the inner game. That's the most important thing. Really like constantly self-affirming every single day, thinking that you're the man, saying things like, I can do this. Why can't I do this? I'm going to conquer this. Any goals that you have, you're like painting a mental picture about it. You're going after it, and you keep improving every day. And that's you know, Tony Robbins says progress equals happiness, right? You're constantly progressing, and like you don't care about anybody else judging you, because you know where like your focus, you know where you're going, and your core confidence is strong. And then by having a strong core confidence, then everything else, if a woman throws a shit test at you, you don't care. Why do I care? You know what I mean? So it comes really here, man.
It's also not being afraid of rejection, right? Like if you being true to yourself no matter what, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna mix it up a little bit. We have a little game for you. It's just like we call it weak guy versus man. Like, so I'm gonna give you a statement, and you're gonna tell me, is this something a weak guy would do, or is this something a man would do? All right.
Okay. Sure. Go ahead.
All right. So, paying for the first date.
I mean, that's always the thing, but like I always believe that the first date shouldn't be like a restaurant or anything like that. So I would say that's weak, but I would say that's weak to your answer. But the reason why is because I feel like if you go into a restaurant and you like go sit across from the girl, you're gonna go and literally this is gonna be how the date goes for most guys. Okay, they're gonna, you know, be ready. They're gonna, you know, get their favorite shirt on. They're gonna, you know, put on their cologne. They're gonna brush their teeth. They're ready to go on that date, right? They're ready, man. They're ready. Watching Jersey Shore right before they get punked.
T-shirt time.
And then basically they go, you know, they drive to the place, to like the restaurant, and then they go in there, and then they meet the girl, and they're like, oh, you know, it's like kind of a little awkward. Hey, how's it going? You know, and then they give her like a hug, and then they finally get, you know, into their table. So then the guy sits, you know, one side, and then the woman sits all the way across the other, right? And then from there, they talk for about an hour and a half, and then after that, they go and they're gonna leave, and then it's like this weird, like, all right, well, I'll see you later, and they're like giving a hug, no hug, like you don't really know. So it's like, I don't like that a date can just, you know, you can waste your time like that and just like not really knowing a person. You know what I mean? There's a lot of obstacles and distractions and the waiter and people. I think it's always best to have like a first date, like somewhere where you guys can kind of just be more like, you know, intimate, and like in a place where it's a little bit more just like, you know, kind of like an environment where it's more fun and you guys can, you know, be together, like a park or like a beach or coffee or, you know, things like that, right? And then if it's like good vibes, then you can always go to the restaurants and stuff like that. Yeah, that's my thing.
You would say like something with low investment first, just to kind of, you're also testing her too. She's testing you, but you're also testing her, right? You also want to make sure she's good quality for you if you're gonna.
Yeah, you want to see if you know. I mean, you're high value dude. You know, he wants to know. And same thing with women. I mean, women have dates all the time. It's not like these women don't have any dates. You know, if you think about it, women have a fuckload of guys that they can just go on a date every fucking day, like Wednesday through Sunday. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like you wanna be different too. I feel like all these guys are doing the same shit. You know, so then it's just like these women are just like. I heard about this. I don't know who told me, it was like a friend, but he said that there's this woman that was on Tinder, and like she went to Korean barbecue every single day with a guy.
Dang.
And, you know, Korean barbecue is pretty good, man, but it's like $50 every time. So yeah, like she went like for like a whole week straight, just like literally like every different guy, just hey, let's go to Korean barbecue. Okay, let's go. Yeah.
This
And
is
like,
so new to me. I've never been here.
oh man, they're like the people are like the people that are working there like, what the fuck? Like, Mal diablo. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus, you know. So it's like,
people working there probably laughing because they're getting the tips.
yeah, for sure, they're down. You know, they don't care. At the end of the day, they're making money. But I mean, you have to understand, like, women have a lot of options. So for a woman, like, the best way for her to like find the right guy, because like, here's the thing: women can get a lot of dates, but what they have a hard time is finding the right guy that will want to commit with her. You know what I mean? Like, be with her. Without like actually like, you know, just being like a fuckboy kind of, you know what I'm saying? So what like women need to do is like they need to just like when they have a lot of messages with the guys, they should just like call the guys and see who they vibe with. You know what I mean? And then if they vibe well, then they can go on dates with those guys. And I think for guys, it's kind of similar too. If you're like a guy who's like, you know, has abundance in his life, I think instead of just trying to go out on dates all the time, I think you should try to call girls and see if you vibe with women. You know what I mean? Because that in itself is kind of like, if you're actually looking for like a serious relationship, then you would kind of take in that aspect of it. Like, well, let's see if I'm vibing well with this chick. Let me just call her. And then if the vibe is going well, then fuck, it's like, man, it's gonna be even better when you meet up. You know what I mean? So if you're the type of guy, you know, and who's listening, maybe has a lot of dates, or maybe has a lot of options, you know, and you're actually trying to get into a long-term relationship, I would say you weed them out by calling the girls. And then you see who you connect with. And then if you know, a couple of people that you connect, then you can go into the date and see who you can really connect, you know, like who's actually the one, right? And I think that's like a good thing to have, because women do it all the time. Women always have a couple guys, you know this Royal Tomasi, male orbiters
roster,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, as a guy, that's important to do, because then that confidence comes from that there as well a little bit, right? And if you don't have that, you have to just going back into like the mindset. Your mindset has to be the strongest of all. It's gonna be impregnable wall that nothing external can infiltrate the internal.
Exactly. Having clear boundaries and everything.
Yeah.
All right. So for the next one, flying a girl out without knowing her on Instagram or dating apps.
I mean, that's a red flag right there. That's already a red flag. I mean, I think that's weak, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
Cause like it's like why do you need someone over there when it's like you can just go to a place and just say what's up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
you'd be surprised. There's a lot of guys that would do that.
Yeah, for sure. I could see that.
All right. And the last one would be taking the lead, even if there is unintended consequences.
Unintended?
Mm-hmm.
What is like?
So like so pretty much like taking the lead, but also understanding there's going to be some consequences, even though they might happen. You take the responsibility about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you're always taking the responsibility, and I feel like, yeah, of course, that's something you know, a strong man would do. You know, because he doesn't care about you know, going back into the internal. Doesn't care. You know, but
exactly.
he's not doing something crazy where it's like retarded, right?
Yeah.
You know, then it takes the double-edged sword there. But yeah. Cool. Those are good questions.
Nah, thank you. That was it for the little segment.
Oh, sick, man. Awesome.
All right. For the next part, I guess it's kind of like hot take. So it's something you have said on your channel that other people might have like not issues with it, right? But they'll have their own opinions about it, which will make it a hot take, right? Sure. So I guess on your channel that I noticed was that you advise men to go through their significant other's phones. Yeah, so kind of want to know your ideas behind it, or I guess your thought process behind it.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically like, if you're dating a girl for like maybe like a year or like a couple, let's just say you're dating a girl and like you're dating her for a couple months, it doesn't make sense for you to be so controlling, right? Because it's like you don't really know her that well yet, you know? But if like, let's say, so that aspect is like, it's different, right? can't just be like, hey, yo, like, yeah, you know what I mean? But you still have to set boundaries, like good boundaries, you know what I mean? Like healthy boundaries, you know what I mean? And like, you got to tell her, like, you know, hold on, there's like an airplane. Let's go, baby. Get in the power, baby. Get in the power.
Let's get it, Pete.
Get ready for that.
I'm ready, dude. Yeah, man. Going back to your question, what did he say?
Yeah, basically, some people might disagree with that idea of having you have basically it's like a break of trust, right? Like you should be able to trust your girl. You don't need to look through her phone, right? If you don't have trust in her, then it wouldn't work.
I mean,
so, and your take is that you advise it. So yeah, just kind of your opinion.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, if you're just dating a girl for a couple of months, I mean, obviously you set the boundaries. You know, if she's actually long-term potential, you know what I mean, and from there, that's going to be the rest of the frame in the relationship, basically, right? That's where a lot of guys fail, and then they're, you know what I mean, they also pick the wrong girl with a lot of red flags too, in my opinion. But yeah, in the beginning it's like that, you know, and then later like towards like you guys are dating for a while, like there's no reason why, like you guys are sharing, like maybe you guys are living together, you guys are sharing like everything together, you know, why is it like that the phone is something that you can't like check, you know? And it's not like thing where you have to check on it every time, like you're like this fucking weird paranoid guy that's like, I need your phone. Give me your phone. But like, you know, when you guys go out and like you guys go to like events, like you go to the movies or go to like a restaurant, you know, you guys are always taking pictures like on different phones, on her phone, on your phone. And like, you know, you want to look at the pictures sometimes. You're like bored and you want to go through the camera roll. And then from there, if Instagram is there, you can look at it too, whatever. But that shouldn't like be something where like, you know, people are like, they can't look, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, I can't look. You can't look at who I'm texting, right? It's like, okay, then you're probably texting a bunch of dudes. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not texting any girls. I'm a guy who loves my woman, and you know, I was single for a long time, but you know, once I got in a relationship, that was it. I love her, you know, so that like I don't really care. Like my whole thing is helping other guys keep doing, you know, all the things that I love, and just, you know, constantly working on those things, right? But you know, like for those guys, you know, I think like if their woman's not letting them look, I think for the majority, just from working with clients, all the guys that their wives or their girlfriends didn't let them look have been women that have been cheated on the guy with like another guy. So it's like it shouldn't be a thing where you're so controlling, but like if you want to look, you can look, and if you do look, it's not like there's nothing to hide. But if there's something to hide, it's gonna be very like, you know what I mean? Like if women will do that, you know. So those are like red flags. If you want to spend the rest of your life with this woman, but she's not letting you look through your phone, like that's, man, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like you basically are like swapping like saliva and like like all different stuff. You know what I mean? Like you guys can't look at a fucking phone. It's not a big deal. So I think the reason why it's very controversial is because a lot of women have the balls in the relationship with guys. So then they call the guys out like, oh, you're insecure, oh, this and this, and the guy's just gonna take it, and he's not setting boundaries, you know. So it's these guys that are like the nice guys that are gonna get cheated on with the guys like Chad, you know. You know, like, yeah, exactly. Is that Don Pedro? That's funny. Yeah, man, it's true though, man. So like that's just a big thing. That's my belief, and yeah, it all comes back from, you know, your inner self, your self-worth, and you know how you hold that frame is what ultimately is going to be happy for you in your life. But at the same time, you know, you want your woman to be happy too, and if she has anything, you know, you always want to like, you know, love her and like cherish her and like compliment her and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because courtship never ends. You know what I mean? That's very important too. You have to understand that. Like, you have to understand that like it takes work to like put in the work to have a good relationship. You can't just always take. You have to give. You know, and I'm always trying to give as well. Like I was in the beginning, I was probably really bad at just like taking. I was giving too, but now it's like I want to give more. You know what I mean? Because like I know that she gives a lot, and like I just want to put my 100%. Her put her 100%, and that's it. You know, we love each other, and like, you know, she has certain things that she likes. I like my certain things, and we go and talk about it and just have good conversations. And, you know, then we have the different polarities where, you know, we're like very passionate. You know what I mean? So I think it takes a lot of work to be in a healthy relationship. But I think a lot of times it's like a lot of people, like, I think every relationship, like, people fight. So it's like when those times when you fight with that person, you have to know like that, like, you love that person and like you guys are there for the long haul. You guys have to constantly remind each other, because I think like more than ever, like, people are just like abandoning ship. Like a little bad thing happens nowadays, you know what I mean? So like you have to like have this like vision together. Once you have like a good relationship of like what you guys want to do, what are your kids' names, you know what I mean? All these things, you know what I mean? And that's how you keep it going. And then just another thing is probably a lot of guys don't do, but it's like dirty talk, man. I think like having dirty talk in the bedroom is really good for like a healthy relationship. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Look.
yeah.
I have a question. I'm kind of curious. I kind of ask this to every guest. So there's two camps of thought. There's a camp of thought that if you're a man, that you should talk. You telling your woman everything is kind of being vulnerable. Like what women say is sexy, is this, is that, right? So there's that camp of thought. And then there's another camp of thought that says you should only be vulnerable to your guy. So then when you go to your woman, you're already in that like dominant space.
Yeah.
So like between camp 1 and camp 2, where would you think men should go towards?
In the middle.
Middle?
In the middle, like basically, if you're having like what I see is like if a guy's very depressed, if he like loses like a job and then like, cousin dies or something, it's like he's going on a downward spiral. He starts to get really depressed, and like it's in the beginning, it's understandable, right? Like a guy is going to be sad, but if he keeps talking about it over and over with his woman, and he's like more emotional, he can never be her rock, because every woman needs a guy who's her rock, And if a guy's not the rock, can't control his emotions, and he's just like a mess, she's going to lose attraction for the guy. So a guy needs to, like, obviously, like, if he's going through a hard time, he tells his woman, but he's figuring it out on his own, because in the end, he's the only one who can really, steer ship of the ship that he's sailing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's really important. So like for me, like, yeah, I tell my woman like some of the struggles sometimes, but like if like I'm feeling bad, I'm not gonna say that, because I'm going through my own internal stuff that like I'm fucking getting better. And then I go back into like what I said, my mindset. I could do this, and then I start self-affirming, and then I get back into a positive state. It might take me a whole day. It might take me, a whole night or something, but I'm always going back into the positive state. I'm trying to marinate myself in the good, because that's how you attract good things, by feeling good. If you're feeling like shit, you're gonna keep feeling like shit, So that's why, like, if you're in a rut, you have to have a mental picture of like where you see. So it's like, let me give you an example. Like for you guys, like you guys have to see that like the podcast is gonna get to like super next level. You're interviewing the best people. It's like you're having people that you always wanted on the podcast. How would feel? You know what I mean? You guys are having more good vibes. It's just it's fun. You know what I mean? Like things like that's an example right there. But that's like that in itself for every guy, like all their own little goals, and then them having the mental picture going after it when things are going hard in their life. They're constantly like thinking about the good of like how it would feel, and then that's how you attract good things, and have a good positive attitude about life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You want to transition to rapid fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Pete, we're getting closer to the end. So this is another fun segment that we'd like to add onto our podcast. So it's just a rapid fire question. We just ask rapid fire questions, but they have nothing to do with dating. They're just personal ones about you, just to get a little more about you. So yeah, ready?
Sure.
Okay, so first one is favorite color.
Blue.
Favorite number. Nice.
7.
Favorite wrestler growing up.
Wrestler?
Yeah, like WWE, all that stuff.
WWF.
Fuck, bro.
Even lucha libre, anything.
I don't know, man. I remember I had that fuck. It was like I would just say Goldberg, I think, or the
Goldberg. Oh, that's a first.
Goldberg is pretty good. Yeah, Goldberg is pretty
cool. Goldberg.
Yeah, that guy was sick.
Yeah.
I used to play video games back in the day, man. I love those video games. Hell yeah.
Okay, since you live in San Diego, what is your favorite San Diego view that you recommend?
Fuck, man. There's so many, but I would say I love the view from Black's Beach, man. That's a good view. It's like Sunset Cliffs and stuff like that in Black's Beach.
Very nice. Okay, and then just my last one for the rapid fire. Well, who is your favorite like artist, musician you listen to right now?
I love like Drake. You know what I'm saying? Drake is sick because he can do it all. He can go hard. He can go soft. You know, Kendrick Lamar is good. I like rap, man. You know, I like listening to old school people like Tupac. You know, stuff, guys like that.
We gotta show Tupac poster.
Yeah, we got Tupac.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
And then yeah, what's your favorite quote?
Man, I just think there's too many to name, but I mean,
You can say kind of like your version of it or freestyle it.
yeah, I mean, I think the best quote is just like, fuck, man. I think it's by James Allen. Is As a Man Thinketh, one of the best books ever. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. That's a go-to. But one of the things he says like, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. And I think that's really hard. In the Bible, it says that too, like how a man thinks he is, you know. So it's going back to that internal belief, you know. Love that one.
All right. Well, that's it for the podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, hold on, Pete. Sorry, Pete. Is there anything that you want to promote?
Oh, that's right.
Is there anything you want to promote on your side? Any dating things? Whatever is for you, your platform.
Yeah. I mean, as you guys can see right here, my name. This is my Instagram, TikTok, YouTube name here. You guys can follow my channel if you guys liked what I said, and also if you guys want to get to the next level. If you guys maybe you're struggling with like talking to women or getting more dates or dating apps or just social skills in general. All you got to do is go to Peter Neal Dating here, and if you go on Instagram, you just DM me or just apply on my website, and we'll jump on a free consultation call. The call is absolutely free, and it's just a little bit more about like some of your obstacles, some of what you're going through, your goals, and then from there we come up with like a blueprint. It's like my system. I have a 5-step system, and if we decide to work together, man, I feel like your life is never going to be the same, right? You're going to change for the greater good, and your life is going to be transformed. So if you guys want to work with me, just all you got to do is go to the link here. And yeah, I want to thank you guys for sending me the invitation to here, and maybe we'll do one in person or we'll do one later, man. But I think we should definitely.
Thank you for jumping on.
Yeah, and let me know if you guys have any questions. Like if I do interviews and stuff like that with people, like what do you want? Well, like any questions that you guys want me to interview, just like let me know.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Right on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, good to see you guys.
All right, take care of yourself.
All right, cheers. Bye.
See you.
See you later, Pete.
All right. Oh wait, stay here.
No, that we can leave.
Leave.